We go. Here we go then. It's time to introduce my next special guest onto my show and podcasts. Accepting my invitation, we have a musician and country act and a singer, Janet Devlin, who has created her own sound and individuality this year and is going from strength to strength. It's very nice to have you back with me on my show. How are you today?
I'm so good. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Can't complain. Where are you in the world right now?
I am in London.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, that's where the place to be. Great. And yes, as I said in my little introductory, I just wanted to get you on my show to chat about, your new album you have
Hmm?
released, and you're promoting it, simply called Emotional Rodeo.
Yes, yeah. Pretty much sums up the album, to be honest, the actual title of it.
Yeah, brilliant. It sounds like a fun album, you know. There's something on the album for everyone. And do you feel this album really shows, your country roots and your musicianship?
I'd like to think so because I've had a few people asking about what the sound is, like what type of country it is. And it's hard because basically on this one, I just pulled from all of my favorite types of country music. You've got like old-timey honky tonk in there, you've got dad rock, heavier rock, a bit of Americana, and stripped down ballads. Like there's a lot in there. So I'm really pulling from my modern influences and the ones from my childhood as well.
Great. And did this album take a lot of preparation, from the writing to the recording to the releasing? Was it quite a lengthy process to finally get it out there?
Yes, it took longer than I would have liked, but sure, I think everybody says that when they're doing their albums. But the Nashville boys worked quick though. The whole Nashville experience of going out because they all work as in there's like multiple live rooms and then the studio room and the vocal booth. So essentially, I go into the vocal booth. They're all in their respective booths, and we all play live together, and I sing live, and it's nice because over in the UK we kind of piecemeal it a bit more and you have to use your imagination a lot more as to like when the bass is there, like this guitar part will make sense. Whereas it was awesome to finally just kind of hear it live and then be like, oh, maybe a bit more of this, that, and the other. And then it's done, there's no
Yeah.
more than like three takes ever for each song. So
Amazing. Okay, let's go through some of the tracks then. Let's open up with the cigarette suites, and that's a great intro number. And I listened to it, and it reminds me of like Dolly Parton in places, which is a nice compliment.
massive compliment. Thank you so much.
And did you feel that was had to be the great opening number for the album, Cigarette Suites?
Do you know what? It was one that from when I played it to older people, younger people, everybody in between, they all seem to love that song. And I love that song naturally because, it's mine. But with feedback I got from people, I thought it would be a really nice opener because I'd yet to hear someone say like, oh, it's not my cup of tea. So, and I also feel like it's a nice like gentle entry into the country that's about to like come after it.
Yeah, sure. Like when you're reading a book, you have like I suppose it's a prologue,
Yeah,
which leads on to like, the storytelling. Brilliant. That leads on to track number two, Daddy. That song's been doing really well. I played that on myself on my sister shows. That's one of your lead singles.
yes. I mean, I love that song enough that I got a daddy tattoo on my lip
Oh,
for the single artwork.
that's
I
amazing.
really fun. Like it's quite camp. It's just like a little pop country number that's supposed to be a wee bit uplifting and a wee bit silly.
Yeah, I like the ooh ha on that one. Just adds to it.
Do you know what? The whole recording of that song, I kept adding sillier and sillier things. Like in the intro, I'm doing shka at the start, and I thought someone would take that out. There's Who's Your Daddy, and all this like going through the middle of it, and then there's the Who Has. There's so many little nuggets of absolute just sheer silliness that somehow it was all allowed and it all went ahead. So yeah, I love that wee song.
It's amazing how the littlest of things can be so effective.
Yeah, just the wee small, just silly moments, you
Yeah.
know.
Cool. Did you have any input on like musical instruments on this album, or was it just focusing on the songwriting and the singing?
No, full input on everything. Like before I went out to Nashville itself, like I sat down with the producer and we created what we would call posh demos. So we would, on the computer, maybe add a fiddle, add the bass, and then he would play the guitar, the producer Rue, and we'd kind of build a notion of the tracks before we took them out. Um,
Right. Yeah, I suppose it's like building a skeleton, isn't it? Putting
yeah,
everything together, putting all the
yeah,
bones and the body
just
together.
to give the musicians kind of an idea of where I wanted the song to
Yeah.
sit.
Here's a good analogy, yeah, of writing a song. When you've got a backbone of a song and you're kind of like working round it to make the full works.
And fleshing it out.
Yeah, that's right. Cool. And so you recorded the album. It's been a memorable experience. And you visited Nashville. Was that one of your highlights, to working and performing or working?
Yeah, I mean, I went out on the 1st of January to do 2 days just to road test it because they work very differently. Like I said before, like over here we would do like instrument days, whereas out in Nashville you have the whole band there pretty much the whole time for the days you're there. So it's very different and it's very quick and it's very fast paced. So I didn't know if it was going to work for me, so I went out and I road tested it. Absolutely loved it, fell in love with the experience. So then I came back. And when I came back, I had the morning off. So I went to the strip in Nashville and like that's just multiple bars, multiple stories, all playing live music and all just playing country music. And every bar I walked past, I knew the song that was playing. And it was like that moment of, oh, I think I'm in the right genre because I've not come across a song I don't know yet.
Yeah.
And also, obviously a privilege to go out there, privileged to be in Blackbird Studios. John, who's married to Martina McBride, he owns the studio, and I love her. I love her work. And obviously, I had to pick up a pair of cowboy boots when I was out there.
Sounds like you had a great time. Yeah, so on to Best Life as well. That's one of your new singles that you're promoting. It follows on from Country Singer, which we did talk about a lot in my previous interview. So the Best Life, what's the story behind this song?
The story behind this was that from the last album, where I poured my heart out and told everybody about all the dark things I went through, you know, um, there's always this feeling I get when I talk to people that are struggling with the issues that I've struggled with in the past. And I've always wanted to bottle up this feeling of like, it's worth it. Stick it out. Like I promise, like one day you'll wake up and you won't curse the sun for rising. You'll be grateful that you're here. You'll be excited to wake up every day. And that may seem normal to some people, but it wasn't my experience. I had a phase of like not wanting to be here. And it may sound like a cheesy song on the outside if you've maybe never been through it, but I meant every single word that I wrote, and I just wanted to because I can't bottle that feeling of gratitude. Like I figured I may as well write a song about it instead, in the hope that it might reach someone that needs it.
Yeah, understandable. I know, like in the press lately, we're hearing a lot of people speaking up about like how they were treated, like in the past, in the music industry. And do you think it has improved, come a long way since like 20 years ago, or do you think there's still a lot to be done to address this?
I find it really hard to talk about the music industry because it's odd to say, but I don't really feel like I've ever really been a part of it. I feel like I've
Mm,
always been on like the outskirts, kind of doing my own thing,
yeah.
really. But from what I can gather, it does seem to be getting better. And I think that's just the social terms as well. Like a lot more people are talking about mental health and what they're going through. And I know some people are sick to the teeth of hearing about it, but you don't know that one person might hear or read the thing that you're rolling your eyes at, and
Mm,
it might really help them.
yeah.
Uh, so I feel like culturally we're making a shift to a much better place.
Yeah, that's good. It's just good to have a network, a supportive framework in whatever job you do. Um,
Yeah.
and especially in the arts field as well. That's good. So talk about Best Life as well, and it's been included on some respectable playlists. What's that feeling like to have your music reaching out worldwide and finally be applauded?
It's the most bizarre feeling in the world, like, especially after doing it 13 years. And, luckily I've had my wee core following that have followed me through all the EPs and albums and things. But it's been really sweet to like see it go just that wee bit further and reach more people and have new eyes in. Especially when I've got a back catalogue the size that I do. It's cool that people are discovering me now because there's like yeah, you've maybe listened to the album 5 times. There's way more music to go and listen to and things like that. And yeah, it's great because that's all you want as an artist. You want more, like more listeners, more bums on seats on tours, more everything, you know.
Yeah. That's true. And although this album has like country influences and sounds, you've also been influenced lyrically and personally by some contemporary modern hip hop artists out there as well.
Yeah, do you know what it was? It was like when I used to go to the gym a lot, I would have listened to quite a lot of like female rappers. So, your Cardi B's, Meg The Stallion, like all of that kind of world and Doja Cat and whatever. And I really love their lyricism and their clever play on words and like the jokey lines and like it's just to me it's amazing. And I wanted to kind of bring that jokey but serious female empowerment into country. I know I'm not the first one to do it, and I won't be the last. But it was cool to try and take that influence from an unpredictable place that I don't think a lot of people would associate with me.
Sure, sure thing. And Beyonce as well. She was an R&B artist, like from the 90s, noughties, 2010s. Was
Mhm.
that surprising when she went into the country world? Doing Texas and Jolene as well.
Not at all, because she's from Texas.
Um,
I was more surprised at, people giving her slack for doing it. And, funnier more so to watch, people from like the UK, right? Just saying like, this isn't country music. I'm like, babe, Beyonce is from Texas. I think she knows what country music is, and she's doing Beyonce country music. So it was just humorous. Like I loved it. I liked her interpretation of everything, and sure you couldn't have had a bigger song than Texas Hold'em.
yeah, it's massive, isn't it? Brill. And you're performing, you got a gig coming up soon. It's on 19th of November. Is it at Doyle's in Ireland?
Oh yes, the Ruby Lounge. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, what do you admire about this particular venue? Is it a venue which is which would you like performing in?
Do you know, it's one of these gigs that like I've wanted to get for so long, for so many releases I've wanted to play it, and I've never landed it. And by the grace of God, I got it this time. And I'm just over the moon to do it because it's a long line of very prestigious acts have played it, and I'm absolutely buzzing to do it myself.
That's very cool. 2025, will that be a good year to see you perform at venues around the country like UK, Ireland, Europe, Scotland,
Oh,
Wales?
yeah. I mean, I just did a live show in London with a full band for the album launch. And do you know what? It gave me the taste for it, and I had the most fun. And it sounded like, not to blow smoke, I'm blowing it mainly up the band, but like it sounded so good. So I would recommend that if people want to go see me, that you can sign up to my mailing list on my website, and we use the geolocation feature. So we will send emails out to people who are in the neighborhood of a gig that we're
Yeah,
doing. So it won't be spamming anybody.
yeah, that's great. Do you like doing shows like on a gig to gig basis, or do you like doing like a just a whole block of shows like a tour?
I do like a full block of a tour. Like with the last two I did because we were kind of in the remnants of COVID. I didn't get to really do like a back to back kind of feeling. But I did when I was out in Australia. I did like a month and a half of gigs out there, and it's great. Like I love being able to like wander around in the daytime, take in the new town, new place, new city, and then go to sound check, go eat somewhere, and then come back and just do my favorite thing, which is obviously playing music. And then I always stay behind at the end of every gig to like thank everybody for going and get photos and sign stuff. And that's honestly one of my favorite parts about it is like actually meeting the people that are listening to the music and being able to like thank them personally.
Yeah. Wow, that's incredible. Just go back to Emotional Rodeo, the name of your new album. There's actually a track on your album called Emotional Rodeo,
Mhm.
a song from the album of the same name. It showcases your rockier side because I know you liked a bit of rock music in your time. And in my notes here, I've compared it to like Shania Twain, even Sheryl Crow in places as well.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, no, I love rock music. I feel like at the minute I'm listening to a lot of country rock music, country, even some of it verges on metal, to be honest. But I love it. I didn't know that that genre existed until about 2015. That because that's when I rediscovered country again. Because up until that point, I was only listening to kind of the ones I grew up with and the artists that I grew up with. So if they put out something new, I listened to it.
Hmm.
But I hadn't gone solely looking for new country music. And Blackjack Billy is a really good reference. If anyone is into the country rock stuff with a silly twist, definitely recommend. So there is quite a lot of rock on this record. But it's because it's always been a love of mine, and I loved finding out that there was a lot of country rock music out there as well.
Nice. You also released a music video for this song, "Emotional Rodeo." Again, it seems like you're having fun. You're comfortable in your own sound and your skin. And would you say this song and the music video has elements of girl power? Celebrating like female empowerment. Along the lines of "Man, I Feel Like a Woman."
Oh, dude, what a tune. Do you know what I think it is? Is like for years, as a woman, and I don't play the woman card often, but I think it's that thing of people always doing the women are so emotional and they're so over the top and like da 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 da. And this song was about my borderline personality disorder, which is a condition that I have, which basically means I have too many feelings for such a small person. And you know what? It was kind of stepping into it and owning it and being like, I don't, yeah, I'm emotional. It's not getting in the way of anything, and
Hmm.
it's mine, and I own it, and I'm owning my stuff, and I'm in therapy and I'm whatever. And it's just taking something that can be quite serious and used maybe against you, and making it work for you, and having it poking the bear a little bit with it, and just I always believe that if you can laugh at something, you can take its power away from itself.
Great. And there's so many great songs on the album, so I know we haven't got time to touch on say yet a few. I wanted to talk about the penultimate track on the album. It's called "Funeral for My Best Friend." Is this a very personal song to you? Would you say it has a mournful message?
Oh gosh, yeah, I wasn't gonna write this song. But because I've been writing with my friends on this album, they obviously know what's going on in my life, and I'm not just turning up to write with a stranger. So I turned up this day. I was writing with Maddox Jones, who I love to pieces, and people need to check out his music. He's amazing. And I literally I broke up the day before this writing session, and he knew about it. I think my team told him because he was staying at their house. And we go in to write, and I have a book full of ideas, you know what I mean? So I was going to pull on something fun just to hide away from what I was going through. And he goes, "So you're going to write about the breakup?" And I was like, no, 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 I'll leave that for another day. And he goes, "No, we're writing about the breakup." And I'm like, "Ugh." So literally the lines in that song was literally written about the day before, because I was in their office in the house that we used to live in together. They were out, like they obviously had to leave when we broke up, and I was in their chair sniffing their cologne and like wearing their shirt. So like the song is literally as raw as it could have been. And there's quite a bit of female rage in it. Don't let the start fool you if you're listening to it. I didn't really go in for a perfect vocal or anything at all. By the end of it, I just was just letting my feelings out, and it's definitely female rage and anger, and just that the funeral for my best friend is comparing a breakup, because we were together for 3.5 years. It's comparing a breakup to losing your best friend, because you're grieving and mourning this relationship, and you're not going to see that person again, probably. I
Hmm.
mean, I'm not really one of those people that's like, I need to be best friends with all of my exes. I don't. They don't need me either. And it's that acceptance of like something that was once so important, and someone that knew everything about you really did feel like grief.
Hmm. I suppose that's a good way of closure, really, when you're in a relationship, put it into song, and then you're finally at peace, with the relationship coming to an end.
Yeah, definitely. So, and especially that song, because it was just essentially me validating my feelings of like, hey, it does hurt a lot, and that's all right. This is a big thing.
Great. So Also, simultaneously, you're releasing a Christmas EP as well. I know this time as well, we're hearing like songs on the TV, on department stores and
Mm.
and so on. And your Christmas EP is called Little Lights, with Christmas Kiss being the lead single. I like the traditional Irish sounds on this one, just like the Pogues.
Oh, thank you. I'm not actually, it's already released. I released it a few years ago. It's just randomly started coming up from people, obviously, as they're rediscovering like my catalog. It went by people a little bit. But it's out there, it's already out there. And it was the two Christmas EPs I did were just my way of trying to make myself a Christmas person because I used to not really like it. I thought it was commercialism and awful. But after doing the two EPs and writing originals and singing some covers and stuff, like I think it won me over. I think I'm now a Christmas person.
Oh, that's good. There's a few recognizable song titles on there. Of course, Merry Xmas Everybody and White Christmas. Was that quite fun as well? A fun experience to recreate these classics, put your own magic on it.
Oh, definitely. Like, because so many of these songs were like a part of my childhood as well, and being able to just like sometimes just strip everything out and do your own version of it was it's very fun. Like I had a good time and I got to work with
Mm,
a lot of friends as well when I
mm,
was recording it. So
yeah.
I made it as fun as I could.
Yeah, I like it when you do your covers and your acoustic covers because you do have a haunting quality to your voice.
Thank
When you've done your song.
Oh yeah, I think it's I think people forget I still have a YouTube channel where I upload not really so much at the minute because there's a lot on the plate, but in between releases and stuff, I do quite a lot of covers and it's truly just like a little passion project of mine because I love lyrics and I love meanings of songs. And I like to take songs that maybe people don't really listen to the lyrics because there's a lot of production going on.
Mm,
And I like to strip it out usually just to a piano and just really try and hammer home lyrically what's going on in the song and I have a good time with it.
yeah. Cool. What do you enjoy about this time of year as well? Talk about Christmas, Winter Wonderland that's opening up this week.
Mm. Oh, my favorite thing is probably it's so bad, and it's in no way like mean or anything. But I work very closely with my management and my two managers, Kat and Rick. Like we see each other 5 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week. Especially on release. And Christmas time is that one time of year where like me and my manager, especially Rick, we're just like I leave. Say this year I'm leaving on the 18th, I think, of December, maybe later, but we'll see. And we always leave and we're like, right, you leave me alone. And I'm like, right, you leave me alone. So we just, apart from the Merry Christmas and like Happy New Year, we don't really hear from each other at all,
Mm,
but in the nicest way because it's like we just want to let each other all go and live our respective Christmases and eat all the food and chill out and relax. Because really, like that's the main time of the year where I get time off and
mm.
and they get time off. And do you know what? It keeps me going for another year, just getting my like 2 weeks or whatever, just to be in my pajamas
Nice. Perfect opportunity to recharge those batteries then.
and see my family and see my
Yeah.
dog.
Cool. What's the sport like being from, your fans, followers, and friends and family that they must be very pleased of your new album.
Yeah, do you know what? It's cute. Like my two nieces, especially, are like my biggest fans. And like I'll get FaceTimes from them with every release. And I went home recently, and I had my niece who's like 5 singing all of the songs that had been released, every word, singing them to me. And I was just like, oh, this is the sweetest feeling in the world. And, obviously with being online, I see people, sending me messages about the album now. And it's so validating in a way that I can't express whenever people have
Mm.
actually taken the time to listen to your work, and it's something I think most artists dream of
Mm.
is people actually listening to it.
Yeah. And what advice would you give someone who wants to chase their goals, but don't have the confidence to do so in any field?
Oh my gosh. I would just say this is so silly, but I would go watch my audition, right? Because I'm clearly very petrified, very nervous, not very confident at all. And that little bit of a push to do something out of my comfort zone ended up with me doing music for 13 years. And, I've had my trials and tribulations with addiction and all of the issues that I've been through and depression and whatnot. But like, again, I'm still here and I'm still doing it. And if that's not living proof that like you can achieve your dreams, like I didn't come from money, I didn't come from wealth or a name or anything like that. I'm from the literal sticks in Ireland. And if someone like me can do their passion full time for over a decade, like believe me when I say you can too. And we're living in a wonderful era where like there's so many social media platforms where you can be putting out, if you're making pottery, you can put that out there into the world, and
Mm.
it's amazing. So I just think that everyone should, take just take it seriously,
Mm.
and post and just keep posting. And
Yeah.
I know it's hard because like, you might post 200 videos and get 5 likes, but if you just keep going, you throw enough stuff at the wall, something will stick. And I've seen it happen so many times now.
Mm.
And it's always those people that people would have said, like, are you not going to quit? You should quit, blah, 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 and it's just that keep going feeling.
Mhm.
So like the message really is like, if I can do it, anybody can do it, truly.
I think when I was in school, the teacher said to me, "There's no words such as can't."
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's a case of like being yourself and believing in yourself.
Absolutely. And even when you don't believe in yourself, because for some people that's unattainable. When
Mm.
I went to rehab and they said, say that you're proud of yourself, I couldn't say it. I could not. But I still kept going. Even though I didn't see what I was doing was any good or whatever, I still made the things and I still put the things out there. And that's what I mean. It's just like, even if you don't think it's good, even if you don't think you can do it, just do it and just
Yeah.
keep at it because you just never know.
Yep. Strong advice there. And last question, where's best for people to follow you on social media or listening, streaming platforms or emailing lists? What's your favorite where people can, give you a little like or follow or
I mean, I think the best place to go if you're wanting to know where all my links are is just janetdevlin.com, and then you see all the little social icons. So if there's a social media you prefer, you can go follow me on that one. Um, Instagram's good because I post on my stories quite a lot. And I just post
yeah.
everything and anything what's going on and stuff. But honestly, I'm on every platform, but I have my mailing list on my website as well if you want to sign up for like regular
Yeah.
notifications. We don't spam, I will say.
Brilliant. Janet, it's always a delight speaking with you because you're so open about what you do and your music as well. I know how hard you've worked on this album as well. So one thing I've got left to do is play one of your tracks on your album. Was there a particular track that you may like for me to play?
Oh gosh. Do you know what? I would say Cigarette Sweets because that's why I made it the opener. I feel like it's a song that I don't know how you would dislike it potentially. But if you do
Brilliant.
dislike it, feel free to let me know and why.
Yeah, cool. Well, we'll get that one on. And thanks for joining me on today's show. Thanks,
Awesome.
Janet
Thank you so much
Devlin.
for your time and thank you for having me.
Pleasure as always.